Hello and welcome to another live broadcast, the Going Ballistic podcast. I just couldn't do this without Jason, so I brought him back. Say hello, Jason.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
How has your week been, Jason? What have you been up to?
Oh my God, my week's been crazy, man.
Yeah, work, shooting. What's been going on?
No, just work. It's not that we're real busy at work, but we're at a point right now where we have to start cleaning all the mud and abrasive out of the water jet and our tank. And I got a backhoe showing up tomorrow, and it's just dirty, messy. I hate it. We do it like every year and a half. It's just a real thorn in my side. So it just messes up the whole week. But other than that, it's been pretty good.
Good. I have a new toy to show you that I haven't told you about yet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, let me see if I can see it here on the camera. For those that are following along to the live broadcast on YouTube, can you see what this is on here? Can you see this big contraption on this scope? It is a side shot scope cam. So what this does is it takes your smartphone, and it doesn't matter which model you have because it's adjustable in all four directions to get the phone in there. It allows you to mount your phone onto your camera, your phone onto your scope. And this is really cool. It allows you to see through the scope. I don't know if you can see this without the glare. You can see right through the scope and with the camera and through the viewfinder. So the person looking through it still sees through the scope like normal while they're shooting on the rifle, and you can record and take pictures of exactly what they're seeing through the reticle and the scope. Isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
Heck yes. I've been asking for this forever for training. Now, not with the camera. I just said to even scope companies, I'm like, guys, I need a mechanism where I can look and see what the shooter is seeing while they're shooting, because that's how I'm going to be able to diagnose their trigger control the best. Or I'm going to be able to explain that they're doing something the wrong way. So this has just like a little, piece of glass at a 45-degree angle in there, wherein the reflection is coming, from the target to that 45-degree piece of glass. And it's reflecting into the camera on my phone. And then it's also going through the glass into my eye. So you get a split image. It's a really slick system. I can't wait to get some footage for you guys just to share me shooting or doing stuff like that. But also when I finally get some more videos out, I mean, what a cool view to be actually through the scope.
Oh yeah. And that's what I loved about when me and Jared went out a couple of weeks ago was, holding the phone. We didn't have a contraption, but holding it on the spotting scope and recording. It was cool.
I want to go on a hunt with this. I think that'd be cool. Put it on there for a hunt, right? You get to get an actual live view. I think it'd be good to learn from your mistakes too. You get to be able to sit back and look and go, oh, look at that right there. Look how I jerked that. Maybe I could just do some dry firing and show you. Matter of fact, that's what I'll do. I'll put it on there and I'll just dry fire a little bit and show you guys what it looks like to my eye when I dry fire a rifle. And I'll talk about the good and the bad, and you'll be able to go through it. Maybe that'll be kind of cool. So I hope you guys think it's as cool as I do. It looks like Tony thinks it does. So does Rudy. They think it's awesome. I don't know if it changes the shooter's view quality. I'd imagine it would. So I'll be checking it out. But even if it does, it's still worth it for me to be teaching somebody out at the range. And it's actually pretty slick. Again, for those that are watching, there's a couple little knobs that I can loosen, and the entire device slides off and out and leaves just a ring on the scope. And the device slides into the ring. So it's kind of cool to be able to have that ring on the scope and not have to have the mount on there all the time if you don't want it. So it's kind of cool.
Now, is it big enough that it forces your head back a little bit further?
It does. It removes, I don't know, 2 inches, inch and a half of eye relief. So I won't be in the exact same position, of course, as you would be normally. But hey, again, I think it's something cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
it's really cool because you can look through the scope. I mean, the other ones I've seen, you literally have to look at your camera while you're shooting. You can't look through the scope.
Correct. Change your position. Yeah, this is gonna be cool. Not just for taking footage for you guys, but for diagnosing a new shooter. I'll be able to get someone on my gun and go, hold on, put the camera on there, lay down next to him, and just watch the camera and see what they're doing. Tony, I have no idea what the cost is. I'm going to tell you how spoiled I am. Is I saw this somewhere and I reached out and said, hey, I'm Ryan Kleckner. I want one. And they said, okay. So I'm sure it's a demo unit. I wouldn't ever assume I'm going to keep it. Whenever I get these kind of things, I don't like to ask. I'm not one of the guys who likes to go ask companies for freebies. So I imagine this is just a demo and check out. I'm looking it up right now for you, Tony. So Jason, you think it's a cool thing?
I do think it's a cool thing. Who makes it?
Yeah. It's SideShot. That's the name of the company, SideShot Scope Cam. Their website is side-shot.com. Now, Phone Scope makes some really cool stuff for your spotting scope. So like for what you're doing out there with Jared, you should check out the Phone Scope product. And they make them to where it's at one adapter for your spotting scope, depending on the brand, and the other adapter depending on your smartphone, and then they snap together, and so they can adjust. And it's just some really clear, nice footage comes out of those. So yeah, go check out Side Shot. Let me know what you guys think. Oh, I forgot to look up a price. I found the website and didn't even look it up. But I like the looks of it so far. It seems well made. Let me open it up right here. And I'll get some footage for you guys. It is, pricey, but it is well made. I mean, so the idea is like these rods here, like aluminum rods. This is put together almost like I would picture a, exoskeleton knee joint type thing. If you could, I guess, because it's solid stuff. It's nice equipment. It is $270 retail. And then they sell the different diameter scope clamps that go around the tube for you. So anyway, yeah, pretty cool. I'm going to try it out, and I'll let you guys know what I think. So did you see that President Trump perhaps started his first gun control thing today?
I did not.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. He came out and gave an executive directive or order, it's not really an order, to the Department of Justice, to Jeff Sessions, and said, I want you to research how we can ban bumfire stocks. And I want you to put that as a top priority. Get those things banned. So that is either the start of gun control problems coming in under Trump, which the irony is we didn't have them under Obama, and we already now have more under Trump. Or he is playing the long con again. He's going to fool us all. And he's putting this out there because the way it was written, I read it and I scream, that's not legal. You can't, because he says, I want you to, to the Department of Justice, I want you to implement a promulgating regulation that incorporates bumfire stocks into the definition of machine guns. Well, you can't. The definition of machine guns is actually a federal law, which means Congress, that kind of, real law. So just to make a regulation, you can't redefine the law with a regulation. The regulations can carry out the law. So I read that and think there's no way this can legally happen. However, the government does plenty of things that aren't necessarily the legal way to happen, is one answer. And the other answer is maybe he's just doing the con again, and he's setting this up for Sessions to come back and say, Mr. President, I researched it per your request and found that it is not legal to do this. I mean, if he's doing that, he's going to surprise us all, but I can hope.
That's about all you can do is hope.
I don't know. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I hate any road that it starts to go down because you don't know which way it's going to turn. But, I mean, all we can do is, contact your local congressman and give your thoughts and hopefully
see how it goes, right?
Yeah, see how it goes.
Yeah. So I have a bunch of news on my end regarding the school shooting last week that we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about. Major news. I've done two things to try and react to that. And that is, one, there's been an app and a company I've been trying to work on for quite a while now. And I've been trying to keep it a secret because it wasn't planned to come out until late next month. But in light of this next shooting, my business partner and I just said, okay, we got to come out with this thing and we got to make it free for schools. So we have come out with, we've announced the company. It's maydaysafety.com. Once again, that's maydaysafety.com. And the idea is it's a whole company that is circled around a plan, alert, react system. And as one of the many tools the company has, there is an app. And the app is actually I think a really cool product. And we've already been meeting with a few people. We met with some county law enforcement and leadership, and already they're saying, done, we want it, we'll take it, yes. And then we're meeting with university school systems that already told us, yes, absolutely, we're taking that, and all these other things. It's been, my partner and I looked at each other and went, oh, crap. Like this is a great problem to have, but everyone we introduce it to goes, yes, that's exactly what we need. That's what we've been missing. So if you guys want to check it out, you can. The website's not as great as it was supposed to be because it was, you guys are seeing it a month before it's ready. And the app is a month before it's ready, but at least you guys can see a picture of what's going on there. And Redleg is saying, and Snakebite on the comments are already alluding to it, is I decided another thing I'm going to do is I'm running for my school board for the county. And so I started my election campaign. I had no idea it actually had to be a campaign because I've been on boards of ethics before. Those are just appointed. But I had to go down to the election commission and get registered. And here's my official sheet where I have to collect all the petition signatures to be able to get enough to even get on the ballot. And I was like, oh, I got to run an actual campaign. Maybe. All right, here we go. But it's absolutely worth it because I want to make school safety a priority. And what better way to do that than put my money where my mouth is and try and join the school board leadership. So that's what awesome. I'm doing. What are you doing, man?
Can you explain the app a little bit more? I mean, get into the details of it. Is it on the App Store? Is it only on your website?
It's neither. Nope, not at all. It's not ready yet at all. It's getting there. And the biggest part of it is actually the enterprise version of the app, which is where I'm actually going to charge people for. That's where they're going to be able to sign in and have the administration screen, for businesses and organizations. So yeah, the app is a way for people to send out an emergency alert. Okay, so the problem I have with emergency alerts now is, one, you're either out with your family or outside of an organization and you call 911, which is great, but you're 10 minutes away from help and nobody around you necessarily knows that there's a problem or an issue going on. You have something like in Europe with a truck plowing down people for 2 miles down a road. People 2 miles ahead had no idea the emergency was coming. You have church shootings where someone's shooting into the worship hall and the Sunday school teachers on the other end of the campus have no idea what's going on, or the same thing with a school shooting. Or you have tornadoes or even a fire at a major business and everyone gets out of the business, but then the safety director is looking around or the security manager is saying, is everybody here? Who's unaccounted for? Who needs extra help? So in all these emergencies, I see a problem with, one, either they might send an alert out one direction, a la a fire alarm or even like a text message system, but they don't allow for messages or communication to come back, which I think is important. And they don't allow some of the tracking features or the crowdsourcing features that our app does. So you break it down into 3 levels of connection to people. The first level of connection is your family. So anyone in your family, when you hit that Mayday button, will get alerted no matter where you are, no matter where they are in the world, with a pin and a map that you just did a Mayday. Now, you can leave it at that. You don't have to do any more. And eventually the call center that we have pops right up like a FaceTime on your phone and says, hey, Jason, what's the emergency? What's going on? And if all they see is your hands running and gunshots in the background, they know to get 911 straight to your location. Now, the benefit to that is 911 operators that I've talked to say that, of course, the majority of 911 calls are cell phones. But of those, about half the time, they have no idea where you're calling from. Now, I believed from the movies that they knew your exact location, but they don't. In fact, they have fax machines still on their desks so they can fax a special form over to Verizon or T-Mobile requesting permission to get your location, and it can take up to 15 minutes for the carrier to fax back what your GPS coordinates were, and then who knows where you're moving to after that. So that's not only a problem, but then sometimes when you call in and you're on the road, so Jason, let's say we finally get you out here to Nashville, you might call 911 and it might route you through Phoenix.
Right.
Because that's where your phone's based. So it's like, this is a antiquated system. So that's another thing I'm trying to fix is you hit this Mayday app. Not only does it send your location to your family, it sends your location immediately to the call center. Call center says, Jason, what's going on? You need help? Got it. They now know the exact right 911 place to call, and they know your exact grid coordinate. So that right there alone is why we thought it'd be a cool thing to help. But then when you get to the organization level, if an organization decides to pay us, now K through 12 schools don't have to pay us. We're going to give it to them for free. Then like a church or like a corporate building, when you show up in that location and you open up your app, you'll actually see the organization present because it'll know that you're present, you're checked into it by your geolocation. And then when you set it off an alert, everyone in that organization will get the alert. So then now you have a safety manager can ping everybody in the building to get out. And on the administration screen, everyone comes out for the fire. That safety manager can just look at their iPad or their phone. And when everyone gets outside, they can all check in safe. So the safety manager can just see all these green lights popping up on his phone and see that only Mary Jane is the one inside still trapped and needing help. So it can help them coordinate a lot better. Or school shootings, they can hit lockdown, and when the teachers lock down the classroom, they can click all secure, and now you have live feed and data to the safety team, letting them know who's locked down and who's not. Now, even a step further, if the user wants, it's their choice, they can allow access to their camera and microphone in the settings, so that during a Mayday, the cops can even jump from phone to phone to see live shots or sounds of what's going on. And then the third ring is what I call the nearby ring, which is you can set a setting that'll alert you wherever you are of an emergency within your area. So I could be sitting next door with you having a cup of coffee, and the next building over is a supermarket, and some poor kid is choking. And the mother calls 911 because she doesn't know what to do. And 10 minutes later, when the ambulance gets there, it's too late. Or she hits Mayday. Not only does she get to the call center, which is going to get her to 911 with an exact location, but it's also going to send out the ping. And I have mine to tell me. Matter of fact, here's a picture of the app right here for people following along. Try and get it without the glare. I have mine set to tell me of medical emergencies that are going to happen within a half mile. The camera's not picking it up very well. There you go. That button is red. So you and I could be sitting there. We can get an alert on our phones, and we could run over and actually help, the choking child well before the ambulance gets there. So the idea is crowdsourcing safety. Tony asked, I have a program to provide the alert to individual responders so they can possibly respond. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So in here in your settings, you can say, yeah, tell me of medical emergencies or things like that. Then active first responders, we're working with the department. So I was just with the sheriff's department for Major County, talking with them and figuring out how we can get them to adopt this. So even they can show up on the scene, and at a school, they can take over, the authority or control of what we're calling the battle board, the screen that shows the dots of where everybody is and what's going on. And I mean, when it goes phases and phases, levels into the future, we're talking 3D blueprints that the cops now can go on. It's an amazing system that we really like. So here is one of the screens. So for an example, if I hit it, it goes and starts pinging out the Mayday. I can stop it if I want to say that I'm safe. And then I can go through here, and here's my organization screen and any nearby emergencies, add family members for your contacts, and the main screen. So it's actually pretty cool. We're excited about it. We just hope that even though it is taking off, that it doesn't take off too much, because we're funding it ourselves. And if too many schools want it, it'll just cost us a fortune.
Yeah. No, man, I think it's awesome. I'm really excited for you. I really hope it takes off, because it sounds like something that we need in this day and age for sure. I can't wait to play with it myself. So hurry up, get that thing together. I'd like to see it.
All right, I will. Yeah. So some people are asking if there's anything like Hero 911. No, I think it's better. Of course I do. That's why I'm putting it out there. One, it's not just for school shootings. It's for everything. It literally is to help that child choking. It's to help in cases of fires. It's to help. There's non-emergency features. So once you're in the organization, if you're at a church, there's a way that you see the car's headlights on. You open it up, you hit non-emergency, headlights on, and it goes only to the security staff to let people know. At a business, you can do chemical spill, incidents of harassment, all sorts of things. It is hopefully going to be something that buildings, organizations, businesses, all are going to want to kind of help manage the facility and everybody on what's going on there. Now, what I know about the Hero 911 app is it does an alert to local LEOs, so it's kind of like redundant. Matter of fact, I'm looking at the website right now. It says complements 911 services. I don't want that. I don't want a parallel system that works next to 911. I want one that works with it, so that I want to try and increase communication, but not so much that there's confusion. So for mine, this app that we're doing, it is actually the tool they use to communicate, the tool that they use to see when cops come on the scene or firefighters come on the scene. There's a feature for being able to do kind of battlefield triage, stuff like that. So we're doing big stuff with it right now. And for getting it off the ground, any company we tell it to says, yes, thank you. The problem is we're just starting with the beta testers now that we want to do for free, especially for the schools. So
right.
There's your soup to nuts. And again, for everyone, maydaysafety.com will give you some good views of what the administration screen looks like and the app looks like, things like that.
That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations to you.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm excited to see it.
We'll see. I hope it works out. We're kind of stressed right now in a good way, because we've been looking at each other all week going, holy smokes. I mean it. We walk into a meeting with somebody and we walk out with them saying, how soon can we have it? And we expected we're going to have to give them a sales pitch. So Jeremy asked, what about someone crying wolf? Yes, there's definitely that issue. I had a meeting with somebody this morning and they brought up a bunch of good issues like that. And my response to most of them were no worse than we are now. So this app is going to make things way better. And if anything, it's not going to make anything worse. Like someone right now can still crank call 911. Someone right now can still go pull a fire alarm. The difference is with this app, you have to be registered through the app, through your phone number and through your iTunes account. So at least if you crank call 911 or if you pull the fire alarm effectively by using this app, we know exactly who you are and where you're at. Red Leg wants to know about butt dialing. We're making a feature for that about how you have to be able to log into it to get it to work. And things like schools, for example, the students will all be able to have this, but when it's an organization where I have somebody with some oversight, like a security department, the first few Mayday presses are only going to go to that security oversight, and they get to decide whether to accelerate it to a full Mayday signal or not. And that's also why we have the call center. We're going to have butt dials. We're going to have people that do the great calls, but I'm always going to have a layer between the person and 911, which sounds bad, but it's the best solution I can come up with at the meantime. So I hope that answers your guys' questions in the comments. And I appreciate your support spreading the word, because the more governments get it for their schools for free, the better off this app is going to succeed and help me take over the world.
Awesome. Well, did you see that? Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, did you see the thing at, what is it, shootingstill.com? They have a sale going for you guys that are listening that want steel targets like myself. I don't own any steel targets, and I am going to be taking advantage of what they have going right now, which is, I believe it's the 12 by 20 full silhouettes for $85. Anything over
That's awesome. A full silhouette steel target.
Yep, 12 by 20. And anything over $199 is free shipping, which I thought, great deal, but it's going to cost me a fortune to ship steel targets. Nope, they've got that covered.
So, wow. Yeah, surplus AR 550. I see it right there. Now, if you guys want to go do that and you want to help support us, go use the link in the description for this video. So on YouTube, you'll see Shoot Steel and a link. If you click on that link, you don't pay any more money. You get the same price, but it allows us to wet our beak a little bit, and they throw us a little bone for sending you over there. So please check out shootsteel.com, and if you see something you like, get it. We appreciate it.
I'm going to get it for sure. I think I'm going to get 2 silhouettes and some 8-inch rounds is what I'm going to order.
Now, do they have stands as well, or does it look like they use 2x4s or just any hangers you want?
No. So they had a stand that I looked at, which I would never buy one. I can build pretty much whatever to hang it. Mm-hmm. But they had one that looked like it used either a 2x4 or a 4x4 and kind of went into a rail system that sat on the ground. They did have a pretty cool round target, and I can't remember the exact name, but it's more for like speed shooting, where it actually slaps down and sits back up, like it has a spring on it or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I saw those in there. But like I said, the silhouettes is what really got me excited. They had some in there that they called gongs. I'm assuming they ring louder.
Yep.
I didn't get into the description of them, but I was just excited about the $85 because, I mean, for crying out loud, I have a water jet that I can use anytime I want, and it's still, I think, cheaper than I can make them by buying a sheet of steel.
And usually the shipping is what's cost prohibitive, but like you're saying here, the shipping's so cheap. So I'm trying to get a link together right now for the hangers that I've seen that I've been using and work really well. On Brownells, it looks like they are out of stock of the less expensive ones, but if you follow the link, you can look for the other target hangers. There's a brand that's a little more expensive, but it's not that much more.
And that was for the T-post that you were using, right? You were driving a T-post in the ground?
Yeah, so you just hammer a T-post in the ground, and this thing just gets on the top of the T-post, and one side of it is a hook, so those Shoot Steel targets already have the hole that you can just slide on the hook, and they just freely hang, so you can take them on and off easy. Or the other side of the hanger has a bolt that goes into like a little spring-loaded nut, so you can actually bolt it on through the hole, and it's spring-loaded, so it kind of wiggles and holds it back to shape. So it's kind of cool because it allows you to do both, ways that you might want to hang it. So only do that link, and that's another thing. If you guys follow that link, you don't pay any extra, but you help out the show, and we'd really appreciate it. Let me get this link in here for you. So, how long is the sale going for, Jason?
I just spotted it today. And when we get done tonight, I was actually going to get on there and get my order done. So I don't know exactly how long the sale is going, but I got notified today of it. So I'm
you signed
assuming
up for the emails?
yeah. So I'm assuming it's till they run out of whatever surplus they have.
All right. So it's not for a date or whatever. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
But
Adding the link right
yeah.
now for you guys. Target hangers. Put this in here. And again, check out the link. Matter of fact, if you're thinking about getting anything from Brownells, if you just follow this link for the Target hangers, no matter what you get from Brownells, it helps us out. So we'd really appreciate it.
And then, like I said, I've always looked at steel targets, but I mean, holy.
Go ahead.
It seems like everywhere I've ever looked for steel targets, they want a couple $100 for those things.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's kind of hard to drop a couple hundred for a target. Now 85, yeah, I can do 85 all day long.
Especially with free shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's good.
Excited for that. And then, of course, we're going to go shooting this Saturday, taking Jared out again.
Cool. Taking your 308 out?
Yeah, we're going to take the 308. We're going to take the AR. We'll probably take some pistols too, but he's going to have a lot more fun, I think, this Saturday, because where I'm going to go over by the bottom of Yarnell Hill, the wind changes direction every couple hundred yards, man.
Bring the 223.
It's going to be a whole different experience. Those bullets fly all over. That is the best place that I've been practicing when I go for wind. Usually takes me a couple shots to pick up where I'm at, and then I'm good to go. But yeah, that'll be a whole new fun thing.
Well, cool, man. I am excited for you guys. I want to see some pictures. Share it with everybody when you get back.
Oh yeah, we'll probably do some more videos on the spotting scope. And speaking of spotting scopes, I'm still shopping. I have not decided. I don't know. There's just too many of them, man. They need to narrow it down to like, hey, you have 5 choices. Which one of these 5 would you like to have?
Well, I mean, I love Vortex a lot, but my spotting scope I use quite a bit, honestly, is a Leupold, because it's lighter weight and a little bit smaller. It's not as clear. It's not as nice on some of the other features. And I have an awesome Vortex I use. I mean, I have a just gorgeous Vortex that I use for out at the range, but it's a huge range queen scope. I would never bring it hunting. So the Leupold is more of the tactical hunting style scope, and it's got the reticle in it. So that's the one I use.
Right.
Again, get a nice one. You'll get a nice one, and that's the one you'll have for the rest of your life. You get a cheap one, you're gonna have to upgrade it again anyway.
And then, of course, tripods. I've been looking at tripods, and it's hard to do that stuff online.
I mean, yeah, it really is.
It really is, because I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, dude, that thing is beefy and strong as I want it. It kind of doesn't look like it in the picture. So I'm struggling with that as well.
Right.
So if you have any advice on a tripod that you like?
Yeah, don't go for the stiffest, strongest necessarily all the time, because I've had really stiff, strong tripods that you just barely tap anything, and the spotting scope just it just wobbles. Go medium level or medium high, level. Don't go super cheap and don't get the top thing. You don't have to spend all your money on carbon fiber if you don't want to. I really like the Manfrotto tripods, but I have a less expensive Slik, SLIK brand tripod that works just fine for me. So just, again, medium level, slightly higher than medium. That's the tripod you want. And then if you really want to spoil yourself, get one of those Manfrotto pistol grip mounts where you actually just grab and squeeze. I don't think you need it, but when I was teaching every day, I needed one because that's what I was using for teaching. It's just a friction mount on a ball. So by squeezing like the bicycle grip, you can move it wherever you want. And then when you want it to hold, you just let go and it would squeeze perfectly on the ball again and lock down. So it was really handy versus, a pan and a tilt. But the hard part about that is it was really hard to get the reticle exactly on the target, because you get it lined up and you'd let go and then it would just lock or move a little bit. So it's really hard. So if you want one to get good shots or to line the reticle up exactly on the target, you might just get one a standard pan and tilt, tripod head. So just remember, you will need a tripod head. You can't just put the tripod to the spotting scope. The threads won't even work. And even if they did, you'd never be able to aim it because it'd be so rigid.
Right.
So maybe a cheap ball mount for now you can get for $20 on Amazon.
Right.
Just deal with it and then upgrade later when you're finally ready. Sound
But
good?
other than that, that's all that's new and exciting on this end of it. Hoping to report what happens when we go shooting this weekend.
All right, good.
And look
Well,
at me, man, going shooting twice in less than 3 weeks.
I know.
That's
Good for
unheard
you.
of.
Good for you. I'm actually getting ready for a big hunting trip. I'm finally going and doing an African safari trip, which I never thought I would do, especially for like the the trophy animals. That's not my thing. I'm not a trophy hunter, but they mentioned it was for the plains game. I was like, what's plains game? They said, well, like wildebeest and, you know, impala and stuff like that. I was like, oh, really? Like I'll hunt deer like animals and wildebeest and warthogs and stuff like that. And so I'm actually going with a 6.5 Creedmoor, and that's what they've talked me into to use. I'll tell you more details when it comes out, but the company that I'm going with to kind of be the shooter for the group, which is really awesome because I've never had that opportunity before, is they're like, yeah, we want you to use a 6.5 Creedmoor. We think you'll like it, and there's this ammo company and all of it all put together. I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to try and get this side scope mount all set up, because how cool would it be to have some live footage of some African hunting on that thing? I think it'd be cool.
That's awesome. When are you going to go on that?
It's going to be this summer.
This summer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you get to use the collector rifle, or do you have to use a different rifle?
I'm going to use their rifle.
Okay.
I'm going with a company, so it's their rifle, which I'm happy to do because it's a nice rifle. I'll tell you guys more details when I go and have plenty of pictures for it. So. Red Leg says 6.5 Creedmoor heresy. Yes, I agree. They're all telling me you're going to want 6.5, and I'm like, I don't know. I think at the minimum I'm going to want like 308 for like the deer size animal, because I just want a little more energy into the target. And I was actually talking, believe it or not, to Kyle Lamb. I don't know if you know that, Viking Tactics. He's like a legend in the shooting community. He and I were talking and joking around about it. And I'm like, hey, Kyle, they're telling me that 6.5 Creedmoor will work. What would you bring? He's like, oh yeah, brother, 6.5 Creedmoor all the way. It just smokes those animals. And and he's saying things that I believe in, which is don't trust your ballistic charts. Don't get lost in the ballistic charts. In real life, for some reason, that 6.5 Creedmoor is supposed to be a target round, but it is just a lethal killing machine for hunting round. I'm like, I don't know, it's a little tiny bullet, and these seem like hardy animals. And I got a text from him like a couple days ago, picking on me for being a strong ranger. There's a joke that there's two types of rangers. There's strong rangers and smart rangers. So he's picking on me for being strong. He's like, oh, look at me, strong like truck. He's like, hey, he did like quotes. He put Kleckner, colon, hey, Kyle, what caliber should I use? They put Kyle, 6.5 Creedmoor. And he's like, hey, Brian, like it was VP of a major firearms manufacturer. What caliber should I use? 6.5 Creedmoor. Then he ended it with, Ryan, I think I'm going to use 308 instead. Like picking on me, like I'm not listening to these guys. I'm like, all right, I can take a hint. I'll try it. So I'll report back and see how it works. Might be kind of cool. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Anthony is saying Kyle is awesome. He's a real deal. He's a very, very, very nice guy. Couldn't say enough about him. He's just a cool dude. I mean, he's the guy. I forget if I mentioned it here, but I see him at SHOT, and he's like, I bump into him a couple times, and he's in the middle of talking to people. I'd like walk by the distance, and he's like, Kleckner. I'm like, hey, Kyle, how's it going? And he's like, everybody, this guy right here, if you read his book, you've got to read his book. And he just would go off to where I'm actually like shrinking away, because to have Kyle Lamb go off about you is already kind of awkward enough. But then for him to do it when his groupies are around him. And so twice he did that. I'm like, okay, Kyle, shut up. I'm walking away. And I'd laugh and I'd walk away, because he was just so gracious about it that he actually called me after SHOT. And he's like, hey, man, I didn't offend you, did I? He saw me trying to get away. I'm like, no, he's just so kind of a guy that who else, when they're in the limelight, would stop to try and share that light with somebody else's. That's kind of cool. So just a cool dude. And I'll be coming out on his podcast here in a couple of weeks. We did a podcast episode together for his podcast, and see how that goes. So
nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That podcast.
It's the Viking Tactics podcast. It's his company. So you should go listen to that, man. There's some really cool leadership podcasts on there. Like the one I really liked that he did with Tom, the CEO of 511. That was a really good episode. And just some of the guys he's talking to is really neat. Red Leg in the comments said the Barnes 127 LRX. Oh man, I agree. I love that bullet. But again, so I'm kind of going with someone from an ammo company, someone from a scope company, and someone from a rifle company, and me. It'll be the four of us on the trip. So I'm kind of using that rifle, that scope, and that ammo. That's how it works. But I think that Barnes 127 LRX would be a good one for sure. I'm a big fan of those copper bullets. Have you ever tried those copper bullets, Jason? I think I've asked you that.
No, I have not.
I like them, but I've heard just so many mixed reviews about them. Some guys swear by them, and some guys say they're junk. So I don't know what to say about them.
I'm pretty simple, man. I keep it kind of old school. I stick with what works.
Yeah, lead and a copper jacket that works.
That's right.
So, all right, man. Well, I've covered what I needed to. Have you covered what you needed to?
Yeah, I'm good, and I'm excited to hear about the app. I was waiting all day today to hear about it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you bringing it up. So everyone knows Jason already knew about it. We just had to keep it a secret publicly, but I decided I'm risking by bringing it out now that someone's going to try and compete or copy it or whatever, and that is a risk. But I figured if I'm willing to lose money and lose the business advantage to help the kids, that's worth it for me. So that's what we're going to do. So thanks again for tuning in, Jason. Thank you, everybody, for watching live and the comments and listening to this podcast and helping spread the word. We appreciate it. You guys spreading the word and seeing those numbers grow every podcast for the downloads is what helps keep Jason and I going. And the links in the notes on the YouTube video, I'll also put them in the show notes for the podcast itself. If you check out shootsteel.com, follow that link, or even want to look at the target hangers and Brunells, it really helps it out. Dave added a comment just here at the last second. I'm going to try and get in if I can. He put, regarding suppressors, you mentioned in a recent podcast they increased muzzle velocity. Also, manufacturers claim increased accuracy using a can. What's the science behind these claims? Yes, both are. Well, the first one is true. The second can be true. More muzzle velocity because the bullet is exposed to gas pressure behind it for a longer period of time. So like a 6-inch can add the equivalent of like another inch of actual barrel, because as the bullet's going through the can, even though the hole is bigger, there still is some back pressure of the gas pushing the bullet. So it's getting a little bit more of an oomph out of the gun. So there's your increased muzzle velocity. And they can also increase accuracy because they can have a more consistent escape of the gases as the bullet comes out. It doesn't have so much of a turbulent ball of gases that the bullet's going through. It actually makes a more stable and consistent system. It also acts like a giant muzzle brake, so it takes a lot of the felt recoil out of the gun, so people are less afraid of it. It's also taking the big boom and the noise out, so people are likely to flinch less. If you got the choice, I think you should always shoot with a silencer. That's my opinion. And another one, Gun Tote in Minnesota, and welcome back, man, said, thoughts on a bump ban? I'm not for any ban like that. I think anything can be a slippery slope. And I think banning any object for the action of a person is absurd. You might as well ban cars for getting rid of drunk driving. I don't think it will solve anything. I don't think anytime we've ever had bans like the assault weapons ban we had in the 90s ever did anything to crime. Matter of fact, it didn't solve it at all. We still had problems. We still had Columbine during that ban. Didn't solve that at all. Banning assault rifles wouldn't do anything because Virginia Tech, the massacre there all happened with handguns. It's just, guys, it's not the object, it's the crazy person. So we need to stop focusing on the objects. That's my take. So, all right, guys, everybody, I appreciate it again. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.
Take care, everybody. Thanks.